Hi everybody, it's Ariel with Arielpaints, and today I wanted to talk about my top 10 tips on being a better, faster face painter at festivals and in the end making more money. So these are the things that I have noticed helped me over the years just be more efficient as a festival face painter. So I hope these tips can help you guys and that you get something from this video. And I hope you'll comment below and tell me your tips to being a better, faster face painter, because we're all constantly learning and I would love to hear what you guys think too. So please comment below, and if you'd like to learn my tips, keep watching. Okay, so tip number one is your setup. You do not have to have the most expensive setup in the world. It doesn't have to be that elaborate, but it has to work for you and how you paint and be efficient and clean and make your life easy. So this is not a black and white thing. Everyone's setup shouldn't look the same and shouldn't be the same. However, next time you do an event, think about what is taking the most time, what's holding you up, what's not working, and then change it. So it can take a while to figure out what you need to do to make your setup better, more efficient. A lot of times it can be, you're a right-hand painter and your kit is to the left of you. So every time you're going to reach into paint, you're turning your entire body and you're wasting time reaching across to get paint and then going back to the kid. Those seconds add up. So I would suggest you have your paint to the right and that you're dipping in and going straight to the kid's face. That's a very, very simple thing that I see a lot of painters do, not just with face painting, but even with their palette and, painting a portrait. They're spending so much time reaching across their body or going too far to get the paint. So think about the easiest way for you to load your brush and get it to that kid's face. That's a really simple thing. Also, having lids on your paint can, take a lot of time when time is money in face painting. For me, I noticed the thing that was taking the most time was at the end of each kid, I would then hold up a mirror and they would want to look at themselves for a minute. And of course it's cute and I don't want to take the mirror away from them. So I was letting them, took up so much time. So eventually I got a large mirror to put on the back of my face painting sign. So now when a kid gets done, I lift them up out of the chair and I say, go to the mirror and go look at yourself. And by the time they're looking at themselves, I've got another kid in my chair and I'm painting them. So that was a huge thing for me. So it's not a black and white answer or even a black and white tip. It's really analyze what you're doing. Think about what about this day or this festival took the most time and how can I change that? And if you can figure that out, you will cut minutes off of every single kid. And in the end, you're going to make more money because you're painting more kids. Tip number two is all about signage. Everyone does their signage differently and you have to do what works for you. So, of course, this is a personal tip of mine. I don't like to have a lot of pictures. When you have a lot of pictures, kids and particularly parents, kids usually don't care, it's the parents, right? They see the Ninja Turtle a certain way and they will come back to you and be like, oh, well, you missed this line right here because it's on the picture, which as face painters, not only takes time, but it's so annoying. We do things differently. We don't like to do the same designs over and over again. So for me, having too many pictures is just a pain, makes my life harder, and I don't like it. But I do have a few because I want people to see my style, right? So for me, I do a little bit of a mix of mainly a word board, which a lot of people say, oh, but kids can't read. Well, I won't paint any kid that's not with their parents anyways. So if they don't have a parent there saying to them, you can have a unicorn or a mermaid or this or that, then they shouldn't be in my line. They should either be able to read or they should have a parent with them. So that's a personal thing. That's how I feel. And I will also show you, let me reach over here. So this is an example of one of my word boards, and I will put a larger picture of this in there too. I've also changed my offerings and my board many times based on what I've seen, right? So I have 3 different categories on my board, a small, medium, and a large. They all cost a different amount. And I change it because I am constantly evolving. I notice the unicorn takes me a long time. So that should cost more and be in my large category, right? Where if, something else I realize is taking me 3 minutes or 30 seconds, I move it to the small category. So I've gone through 3 different versions of the sign. I feel like I finally honed it to be a good mix and all the designs are in the appropriate spots. So I'll try to show you this here. So here's this one part of it. Here's the large category. And then I do have these 3 photos on my board. But besides that, it is words and a kind of statement about what you need to know or do before joining the line. I also have some whiteboarding tape on my sign where I can change pricing. So I have $3 designs, $5 designs, and $10 designs. My $3 designs take me 30 seconds to a minute. It's calculated. $3, you get a quick face. My medium designs are $5 and they take me anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes. And then my $10 designs are full face designs that can take me anywhere from 5 minutes to sometimes 10 minutes. So I'm charging appropriately for those large designs. And I also feel when parents are paying $10 for their kids to get face painted, that it should take more time. I should pay more attention to that design than my $3 designs. So basically the tip here is to create signage that works for you. If you're the person that doesn't mind having parents say, oh, you forgot this starburst in the corner, then fine, do a bunch of pictures. But for this particular list, how to make more money when face painting, don't do too many pictures. Have a word list, have a couple examples of your style and how you face paint, but don't overdo it. Don't have a book there filled with designs so that the kid is going through, 50 pictures and can't pick. You're not going to get through as many kids that way. Also, don't give them too many choices. If you sit a kid down in your chair and you go, oh, which rainbow cake do you like? Or what's your favorite color? They're gonna go, well, purple, pink. And then they're gonna look at all your kit and they'll be like, I like that one and I like that one. And can I have that glitter? And I want a gem and I want this. Keep them talking if you need to. If they get distracted and start looking at your kit, do the, oh, are you an artist? What's your favorite color as you're starting to paint? But don't give them too many choices because it's going to hold up your line and in the end, you're going to get frustrated. Okay, tip number 3. If you can, get a line helper or an apprentice. I have a great young gal who is the best assistant in the world. She's a wonderful artist and she's also my apprentice. So she can paint all of my small designs, some of my medium designs, and some of my large designs. So not only does this help me out at festivals because I have an extra painter who can take some slack when we are crazy busy, but she takes the money for me. So I can keep painting. So get a friend to help you, get a parent to help you, your kid, whoever you can find to help you run your line. If somebody is at the front talking to people, taking the money, that means you can paint. And if you can paint 100 kids instead of 50 kids, that's twice the amount of money for you to take home that day. The other thing and tip I'll give you is if it's an event that is big and or even they're paying you to be there, ask them if they have volunteers. 90% of the time, if you don't want to pay an assistant yourself or have to get somebody, or you can't find somebody, ask the organizers. Do you have a volunteer that can help take money and organize my line? Do you have anyone who can help talk to the kids while I'm painting someone? 90% of the time, they're going to go, yeah, actually we do, and they will send you help. So ask for help. Huge. The next tip I have for you is kind of a two-parter. It's saying no. It's important to know what event is not right for you. It's important to know when you should be doing a charity event and when you maybe have done too many that year. So you do have to think of your face painting business as a business. I think too many people are too quick to discount the fact that this is a real business and you can make a lot of money face painting if you think of it in more of an organized way. I do charity events. I love to do charity events, and I'm a yes person. I like to do them. However, I pick what works for me and what's right for me. And I sometimes say no, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to charity events that you don't feel are right for you or you're not comfortable doing. It's also okay to say no to an event where they want you to pay for a booth. I don't pay for booths. I work events where they want me there as an extra added bonus to have a face painter, and then I have full profit at the end. So I say no to that. I'm not going to pay $500 to sit at a festival and maybe make $100. That's not my business model. So you do have to think about that. The other aspect of saying no, which I think is so important, and I've made this mistake so many times, is when a parent or child sits in your chair and they ask for a design that you've never done, or you've never practiced, or you don't even know what they're talking about. Say no. I have said yes so many times, and 99% of the time I regret it. I paint something that looks nothing like what they wanted, and then I'm embarrassed. They're walking away with some weird thing on their face that looks nothing like a Shopkins, or nothing like Beast from Beauty and the Beast. So not only am I unhappy with it, but it's not a good representation of my work. So I have learned and tried really hard to say, oh, I haven't practiced that design before, so no, I'm sorry, I can't do that, but you can pick from all the other designs I have. Or sometimes I'll say, I haven't practiced that, but I'll try to do that, and I'll try to practice that. So next time you see me at a festival, ask me again. Or find some manipulation of it. So sports teams. Every kid wants a sports team on their face, right? And those are graphically designed logos. They're very, very hard to paint. So if they want a football team logo, I say, I can do a football with flames coming out of it. Oh, okay. So say no. It's okay to say no. Decide what your standards are and stick with them. You'll be happier in the end. Okay, so my next tip is maybe an obvious one. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Face painting is a different kind of painting. I'm a fine artist. I like to, credit myself for, oh, I can paint you anything. What, you want a custom painting? Sure, tell me what it is. You want a mural on your wall? Great. But when I started face painting, it was a total, oh, you're an artist. We need help. Come face paint. Okay, I'll do it. And I didn't know what I was doing. It's very different. The way you layer is different. The consistency of face paint is different. Everything about it is its own individual art. So practice. Practice, practice, practice. Watch YouTube videos. Practice along with someone. And don't ever discount the importance of continuing to hone your craft. It is a very, very specific kind of art. The more you can practice line work, practice on kids is great. If you don't have someone to practice on, get a practice head. There's tons of different ones, cheap, really expensive ones, to help you practice around the contours of a face, which is really, really important. But if you don't have a practice head, get a cheap transparency sheet and just practice your line work. Practice really does make perfect when it comes to face painting. So a simple tip, but a really, really important one. So another tip I have for making more money when you face paint is to put out a tip jar. No one's going to tip you if you don't have a tip jar. Every now and then I'll have somebody hand me a couple extra bucks. But if you have a tip jar, and I have it kind of off in front of me where I can't really see it, it's kind of behind me actually towards where my helper is. But sometimes in the middle of an event, I'll turn around and that thing is filled with dollar bills. And that can be an extra $20, $30, $40, $50 at the end of the day, which adds up. So put out a tip jar so people tip you. Okay, so this tip I love. When you go to an event, do you paint your face? I would love to know. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. However, I have noticed if right before the event, I usually set up and then as people are starting to show up, I will paint my face. One, people like to watch me paint my face. They think it's cool that I can paint my own face. Two, the design I pick is usually relatively simple, impactful, and quick. So usually I'll do like a glittery eye design or something floral just like here on the, curve of my eye. I like to do my glitter design because I have that as an option on my sign and nobody knows what it is. So then I can say, oh, this is the glitter design. But the other reason I do it is because if I do that, if I paint my face, 80% of the kids that walk up, if it's really, really girly, all of the girls will go, oh, I want what you have. First of all, I know that I charge $5 for that. Perfect. Sit on down. And it's one of my 30-second to like minute designs. So I end up doing 100 of those and I make a ton of money and it's so simple. They're not sitting there wondering what they're going to get or, what the unicorn looks like. They look at me and they go, oh, I want that. So simple. So my suggestion is to think of a quick, easy design that you like to do and that you wouldn't mind doing 50 times over and over and over again. Put it on your face. You are walking advertisement, right? Also, if you do have an assistant or someone running your line for you, paint their face. They're at the front of your line. It's marketing. Show everyone who is standing in your line what that design looks like by painting their face. And do it with a simple design. It's a great, great tip. I love doing this. So another tip I have is customer service. I have seen a lot of face painters get a little bit utilitarian about what they're doing. They don't talk to the kids and they're just not, engaging them. This is a business. You do have to think about customer service. It's sales. The kids are your customers. The parents might be paying for that kid to get their face painted, but the kid is the customer. I try really hard when that kid walks up to me or gets in my line, that he or she is the most important person in my mind right then. I try to talk to them. I try to make them happy and excited and focus on them. Now there's another component to this. I've had, the parents are paying, right? So sometimes I'll have maybe a dad and a little boy, and the little boy wants a rainbow, and the dad really wants him to be Batman. And this is tricky because you don't want to be rude to parents. I mean, they're also your customers. However, to me, what that little boy or girl wants is far more important than what the parent wants. So I try to be careful and polite and respectful. However, a lot of times I'll say to the parent, it sounds like your son really wants a rainbow. So I'm going to paint him as a rainbow, but if you'd like to be Batman, then I will go ahead and I will paint you as Batman for free when he's done, okay? And then I just start painting. And it's a little trick I have. It kind of shuts the parents down and keeps everything moving. And in the end, the kid's happy. And usually the parents like, no, I don't want to be Batman. I just wanted to force my kid to be Batman. And they don't want to get painted. But honestly, if they wanted me to paint him for free, I would. Because my goal here is to make sure that the kid is happy and they have what they want. So that's my tip. Customer service. Think about your customers. Make them happy. Okay, another very, very, very important tip. Have a contract. Have a detailed, thought out, thorough contract. Have it and make sure it covers multiple scenarios, private birthday parties, festivals, corporate events. This is not easy. It took me so long to come up with a contract that I felt was good and that I was comfortable with, and that, covered all sorts of different scenarios. And I've changed it many, many times. I have sent it, gotten some weird question, or there's something that's not quite right, and then I go back and I change it all over again. So this is hard. It took me months and months and months to do. So I cannot emphasize enough that this is not easy. You really have to plan it out and think about your business, how you work, and what's appropriate. I've combined essentially my price list and fees with my contract so that it's one document. I have my specifics of my rules, you know, that I'm not a babysitter. I'm not going to come and watch your kids when I face paint, but I'll come and face paint for, you know, this long. Things like a deposit, you know, your date isn't saved until you give me a deposit. If an event is canceled, if there's something unsafe happening, or I'm uncomfortable at an event or private party, that I will pack up and I will leave. There's so many components to it. It's not an easy thing to tell you over YouTube what you should and shouldn't do. And I won't tell you what you should and shouldn't do. That is up to you. However, it is very important to have that document together and make sure that it's going to work for how you want to run your business. So have a contract, spend some time on it, and make it work for you. Okay, so we're pretty much at the end of our tips, but I do have one more tip that I think is so important, and probably the most important tip is to have fun. If you are not having fun doing this, then that's too bad. You should. Face painting is fun. The reason I love it so much is because I get the best part of a kid, right? I get the happiest, most excited part of every single child, every parent's kid that is in my chair. I get that great, happy, fun time with them. So I love it. I really enjoy it. I hope you guys too. You guys do too. You probably aren't watching this if you don't have fun, but you know, it should be something you like to do because you radiate your, you know, feelings out to the world, right? So if you're not having fun at an event or you're stressed out, then it's going to show, and kids pick up on that stuff, and parents watch you with their kid, right? So if you're not enjoying yourself, then it's going to come out in what you're doing, and everyone's going to notice. So have fun. And a lot of that is, you know, making sure that you're prepped with your setup and your signage and the event that you're doing, that you want to do it. So a lot of these tips and advice that I have given all comes down to the end, where if you have all that set up correctly, then you should be having fun doing this. I also try really hard that whenever I have the next kid, that kid's now the most important thing to me. I do not, sorry, my hair's looking a little funny. Okay, I do not look back. I paint with my face or with my back towards my line because I don't want to see my line. I don't really want to know that I have 100 kids waiting. I focus on the kid in my chair. I want that kid to have fun. I want to enjoy painting that kid. So the rest is white noise. I worry about the kid in front of me. I try to make them happy. I try to have fun and enjoy the design that I've just created. And just enjoy yourself. I really hope you guys enjoyed this list. I hope there's some good tips in here and things you can use. Again, if there are tips you guys have, I'm constantly changing my setup and constantly improving what I do. So I'd love to hear if there's something you guys do that you find to be really, really helpful at events. I do this for fun, but I also do it because I like the money. I like to make a lot of money in an event. It's exciting and it's fun for me. So it's a combination of doing all of these things to make my life easier, but in the end, making more money in my business. So I really hope this helped you guys, and please let me know your tips, okay? I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching. Rogue hair. Just ignore that. So it's